Hey guys, I'm Abby Sharp. Welcome to Abby's Kitchen. Today's edition of What I Eat in a Day YouTube Reviews is sponsored by Native, and I'm going to be looking at controversial mukbanger and cheat day enthusiast Livia Adams from the YouTube channel Always Hungry. Now, of course, I want to flag, yes, I sound a little congested because a couple days ago my kid gave me a cold and I'm over it now, but of course I'm dealing with this sexy voice aftermath, so bear with me here. Also, I want to chat about this natural deodorant I've been using from Native. I've always been pretty picky about my skincare products, but this is particularly true while pregnant. And since my first pregnancy, I've been on the hunt for a natural deodorant that actually works, even after a workout or a really long day. So they sent me the coconut vanilla, cucumber mint, and lavender rose scents, my favorite being the vanilla, of course. But I've been using them for the past few weeks, and guess what? I actually smell really nice. So this deodorant isn't sticky, it dries fast, they have a bunch of yummy scents, and they're vegan, plus also aluminum, paraben, and sulfate free. And they're packed with natural ingredients like coconut oil and shea butter. So you can visit the link below and use the code ABBY20 for 33% off your first Native deodorant pack plus free shipping. Okay folks, now let's hop into the meat of this video, beginning with my general disclaimer that the information in this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and you should always seek out the help of a registered dietitian or a medical professional for your unique case. I also want to note that today's videos may be triggering for any of my followers who are currently or have previously struggled with disordered eating or an eating disorder. So please feel free to skip this video if you're unsure. I also want to remind you, please, let's keep the comments clean. I want to keep this space respectful and supportive. So if you are going over to Always Hungry's channel or you're leaving comments below, please nothing personal. I want to keep it supportive. Now, if you've ever watched any videos from Always Hungry, you'll know that Livia is known for her over-the-top cheat day videos and food challenges. She has also been very open and honest on her channel about her recovery from anorexia and claims that her cheat days have really been an important way for her to overcome her fear of food and become more flexible with eating. Now, the whole cheat day concept is not new, but it has definitely become popularized by the fitness community as a type of kind of rewards-based diet strategy that allows for a brief period of indulgence about once a week or so. Usually it involves following a highly restrictive and controlled diet for about 6 days a week, and then on the 7th day, you'll cheat on your diet by consuming high-calorie foods that are often restricted throughout the week. Now, I'm going to be talking a lot more about my thoughts on cheat days later on in this video. But Livia takes her cheat day videos to an extreme by bringing them into kind of the mukbang or eating challenge territory. Now, I've already shared my thoughts on the mukbang trend on the channel before, so you can definitely check that out here. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with mukbang, in Western culture at least, it's now become an over-the-top eating challenge that involves eating large quantities of food in a very short period of time in front of an audience, aka YouTube, all of you. So to start off, I want to get a sense of what Livia eats on a regular day when she's not overindulging on a cheat day. Let's meet Livia.
I just show you how my day usually is. I'll put a little disclaimer right here that this is not how everybody should eat. This is not how I eat every single day. It's just today, what I eat. I try to stay between 1,400 and 1,600 calories. I roughly track, I'll track today so you know what kind of calories I consume. Usually I just go by hungriness, but sometimes just to make sure I'll track roughly to see that I had enough calories.
So in Livia's disclaimer, I like that she's being upfront about not promoting a specific type of diet or way of eating, and that she generally eats based on her hunger signals, which may look different day to day. I am very much on board with this type of approach, as we really should all be tuning into our bodies and following our hunger and satiety cues. And it's true. I mean, if we intuitively follow our hunger signals, what and how much we eat may look different day to day. However, Livia does say that she will sometimes track her calories to make sure she's within the 1,400 to 1,600 calorie range. Now, I will say this range would be considered quite low for a woman Livia's age and activity level. In general, a healthy diet for someone like Livia would be somewhere between 1,800 and 2,200 calories. So even though she does say she follows her hunger signals, this calorie range that she aims towards does sound a bit restrictive to me. Let's see what's next.
And then also, we'll be going shopping afterwards. So I'll take another protein bar, another protein bar with me. These are Costco brands. They taste like Quest bars, are a little cheaper, and I like them. They're really good. They have only 4 grams of net carbs, 21 grams of protein, and 16 grams of fiber. I'm gonna bring these two. For me, it's all about convenience at the moment because we never have breakfast or lunch in that sense because we just don't have the time.
Now, I am all about convenience, and really the easier you can make meal prepping, the better. However, what I am not a huge fan of is the idea of skipping meals, you know, right before you're going to work out specifically, but just in general. I mean, that is a recipe for disaster. So not only will this not optimize the time that you spend in the gym, but it may set you up for a late night binge session. I mean, both breakfast and lunch on just 190 calories, that is not enough. If you are in a rush, having a meal before a workout can really be as easy as spreading a tablespoon of peanut butter on some toast with some fruit on top, or whipping up some oatmeal with berries, or even opening up a can of tuna to have some crackers and veggies. I mean, convenience in my books is no justification to skipping a meal. If you have time to make a YouTube video about it, you probably have time to put something in your mouth. Now, I know Livia has her protein bars at the ready to fuel her workout and recovery. However, in this case, the energy and macronutrient profile that she's getting from these bars is really just not sufficient for this kind of workout. Ideally, a pre-workout snack should really focus on those carbohydrates to give you the energy to fuel your workout. And then your post-workout snack should really be focusing on the combination of carbohydrates and protein. Now, in general, the ideal ratio for a post-workout snack in particular would be 1 gram of protein for every 2 to 4 grams of carbs. Also, the amount of fiber in these bars is just going to slow down the rate of digestion. And pre-workout, that's not ideal because it could give you cramps. And post-workout, you know, you want your muscle cells to be fed as soon as possible. Now, this would be great if maybe you want to pair it with some fruit for some extra carbs, but all on its own, it's still sounding a little restrictive to me. Let's take a look at next snack.
I'm going to have these Quest chips and a glass of almond milk right now as I'm working on uni work. I think I'll just film that and fast it forward. And these chips, I love these Quest chips. They're super good. I love the tortilla style. So yeah. I finished that, so I'm going to get another one because I feel like almond milk goes really well with chips. It just enhances the flavor and I like the softness. So I'm going to get another of this and continue work.
Okay, I just want to pause here for a second because I don't think I've ever witnessed somebody drink almond milk by the glass. But girl, if you're enjoying it, you do you. But let's just talk about the nutrition there. I mean, not a whole lot coming from almond milk, but a great source of protein. I am seeing protein kind of being the theme of the day so far. There's not a lot of carbs. Let's see what's next.
Alright guys, so the food is ready. I have my salad. You saw what I put on it. I'm also going to put the picante sauce on it. It's from Walmart and it's not very good to handle. By the way, these are a life hack. Chopped onions are so crispy and they make every dish better. Also, this is what my cauliflower turkey rice looks like. I'm also going to have 1 or 2 of these. And yeah, this is what I cooked for Nate. This is turkey, onions, peppers, and quinoa rice. I ate most of my lettuce, and I'll add the What?
What are you adding?
I'm adding my cauliflower turkey mix.
Oh.
So we have that, and we're gonna mixing it. And then it doesn't look appetizing, but
So yeah, I'm happy to finally see Livia prepare a real meal for herself. Her meal, she's got some ground turkey, salsa, cauliflower rice, and she uses it as like a tortilla filling. Sounds pretty yummy, very simple, it's relatively balanced, totally something I would be down for. However, the portion size of this meal is really concerning. The amount of filling in this bowl looks to me like it would equal about 3 to 4 servings. On top of that, she also has a whole bag of lettuce with a totally fat-free dressing, sugar-free dressing made with sugar-free pancake syrup and some white vinegar. Really not a whole lot going on there. I'm honestly not entirely surprised that Livia has a bigger appetite at this point in the day and is able to consume this larger quantity of food, considering she really has only had a few snacks during the day while also having a full-blown workout at the gym. Personally, I would like to have seen Livia space out her caloric intake and protein throughout the day a little bit better, and that would help regulate her appetite and avoid any dips and spikes in blood sugar levels, and also better support her workout recovery as well. By simply adding in a substantial breakfast and lunch with some snacks in between if needed, perhaps her dinner meal wouldn't need to be large enough to feed a whole family. Okay, let me tell you my overall thoughts on this what I eat in a day. Overall, I like that Livia says that she relies on her hunger signals to guide her eating. However, like a lot of these YouTubers, I feel that they don't always walk the talk. Aiming towards a caloric restriction does seem to contradict this approach and would interfere with her ability to intuitively follow her body's needs. I would have also liked to see Livia spend less time preparing separate meals for her and her partner so that her meal could be lower calories, and more time into preparing balanced meals for breakfast and lunch. It would also be great to see a little bit more nutrition around her workout and also spacing her calories out more evenly throughout the day. I also have to just say that the substantial load of calories at the end of the day is a classic restrictive mentality symptom. A lot of dieters who restrict heavily all day long end up spending all of their calories in huge meals at the end of the night. It's kind of like a let's save these calories for later thing that is basically an extension of the restrict all week, binge on a cheat day mentality. We will get more into this later, but I also want to really just point out that even if the total calories for the day look okay, the way that they're eaten may not be ideal. Now let's move on to the real issue. Livia's cheat day videos. Now, the majority of Livia's videos are pretty outrageous and over the top. Some examples of her videos include eating as many donuts as possible in one day, eating the entire alphabet, eating anywhere between 10,000 and 15,000 calories, eating everything from Pizza Hut. You get the gist. Her videos are basically cheat day on steroids, in that even if there was a benefit to a cheat day metabolically, any nutrition expert would say that this strategy would completely undermine it. As for today's video, we're going to specifically zone in on her anorexia versus 10K calorie challenge to get a sense of how Livia's eating disorder history plays into her cheat days. Also, before we do, another reminder that what you're about to see may be triggering for some of you, and also that my commentary here is really not meant to be mean-spirited. It's ultimately meant to give you all some insight into some of these common problematic behaviors that we see here on YouTube. Let's take a look.
Many of you guys probably know that I had troubles with food in the past. I was suffering from an eating disorder, and 2017 was actually making me free when I had my first cheat day in April, and I was always contemplating on doing the 10K challenge. Never dared to because I didn't want to trigger myself. But I feel like it's time to show you guys that numbers don't matter that much. And this is obviously this disclaimer. I don't recommend to have a goal to hit 10K on your cheat day or more. It is just for entertainment purposes, and also to show you guys that weight is not everything, and that from time to time it's important to enjoy yourself. So yeah, I will have the whole day to hit my 10K goal. Also, what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to calculate everything while I'm eating it, just to make it more enjoyable for myself. I have a roughly count in my head, but only my editing self will know if I actually hit 10K. But I hope you guys do enjoy the video. This is for you guys out there who are suffering from fear of food, and I want to make you comfortable with it. I want to show you, enjoy yourself. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Obviously, you should do that every single day, and you should eat healthy most of the time. But coming from a place where I took healthy to another level and cut out everything that was enjoyable regarding food, I can say that you should definitely make food your friend and enjoy yourself.
So I really appreciate Livia's vulnerability here, and that she's being so open and honest with her followers about her recovery from an eating disorder. It really sounds like she's in a better mindset when it comes to eating, because she emphasizes the importance of creating a pleasurable relationship with food and enjoying yourself. She also empowers her viewers to not worry about weight or numbers, and she also mentions that she's not going to be really counting the calories religiously while she's eating in order to make the eating experience more enjoyable for her. All around, I like the messaging here, and I'm happy to see Livia describing herself as being in a better place mentally when it comes to her eating. As for her rationale for doing the 10K calorie challenge, Livia claims she's doing this as a way to free herself completely of numbers and fear of weight gain. Research has shown that exposure to challenging foods as a means to face one's fear is an effective therapeutic method for normalizing foods to make them feel safe or less scary or forbidden. So I totally praise Livia for her commitment to freeing herself from numbers and challenging herself to face her fears through food exposure. However, I do not totally agree with the method in which she's doing it. I know the 10K calorie challenge is a new trendy YouTube tag, but for somebody with an eating disorder history like Livia, this type of eating challenge has the potential to be very triggering and perpetuate the cycle of restriction and binging. Now, I know that Livia seems to be in a better mindset when it comes to eating and has made some significant strides in her eating disorder recovery. But I am concerned about the message that this sends to her followers who may also be struggling with eating disorders or disordered eating. So before we go to discuss this further, let's go ahead and see how Livia does during the 10K calorie challenge. Okay, so I'm not going to make you watch any more of that, but first, we see Livia starting her 10K calorie challenge by drinking 5 glasses of white chocolate milk. And by this point, she's already reached about half her daily energy requirement from liquids alone. So yeah, let's see what's to come.
This is roughly 500 calories. And we got 18 donuts.
Okay, so I'm not gonna watch her go through all of that, but not only did Livia have a crispy chicken sandwich, but she also managed to eat 9 donuts. 9. Now, I am a huge donut junkie, but even in my pregnant state and now having to eat 4 too, I would never be able to eat 9 donuts in one sitting without feeling really unwell, overly stuffed, and way past the point of fullness. Like, I love donuts. They are my favorite treat of all time, and they wouldn't even taste good at that point. So I'm starting to get really nervous to see what Livia has in store for us next. So this is crazy. I mean, Livia has created this like pizza burger concoction where she's got 2 mini pizzas wrapped in dough that she uses as the bun. Then she adds 3 pounds of beef, 4 strips of bacon, sauces, and burger toppings. This is like something you'd see at the fun fair. I mean, kudos to Livia for coming up with this very interesting and inventive burger creation. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if I saw a burger pizza on a menu somewhere, I would definitely consider trying it just to see what was going to come out. But again, the quantity of food that Livia has been able to consume at this point in the challenge, especially in the context in comparison to what she's eating on a normal, regular day, is quite alarming. Let's see what's next.
Okay, so please podcast. I have no idea what a MUKBANG is, but
I have the rest of it, which is when I finish it, 1,000 calories. This I'm gonna put on the screen, and 2 apple pie Oreos. But first, we're gonna win.
We're about to be rich.
We're about to be rich.
Okay, so we have finally gotten to the end of Livia's 10K calorie challenge. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I have a full-on food baby on top of my real baby just from watching that. No, but seriously, there is a lot to unpack here. So I want to start by talking about the risks of consuming large quantities of food in one sitting and the effects that this has on the body. Now, when we overeat or eat past the point of fullness, there are a series of metabolic reactions that occur in the body to assist with the digestion and absorption of food. Starting with the stomach, overeating increases production of hydrochloric acid, which can travel up the esophagus and cause acid reflux or heartburn. This is especially true when we consume foods that are really high in fat, which of course she definitely did. There's also an increased amount of blood that is sent to the stomach and the intestines to help with the digestion of larger amounts of food. This causes increased heart rate and blood pressure to keep up with the metabolic demands of trying to digest this high amount of food. Now, the stomach will also stretch to accommodate the food that was just ingested, which then pushes other nearby organs and can make you feel really uncomfortable and gassy. I mean, I think we've all been there. We've finished up the last serving at the buffet and we have no choice but to discreetly unbutton our pants when we finish our meal. There's no shame in that. But I think we can all agree with how uncomfortable that feeling really is. Now, overeating also takes its toll on the digestive system by putting increased strain on the liver and pancreas as they work harder to secrete enzymes to break down food in the digestive tract. So blood sugar levels will also spike, causing an increase in insulin to help your cells absorb the higher amounts of glucose in your bloodstream. On top of that, your intestines are working so hard to digest this larger quantity of food that it's using up tons of energy to do so, making you feel lethargic, sweaty, and even dizzy. Bottom line, eating the large amount of food that we see Livia do in her video would be extremely taxing on the body and would ultimately make you feel like complete crap. Now, in terms of Livia's nutrition, not only does she surpass her 10,000 calorie goal, but her protein, fat, carbohydrate, and sodium intakes are off the charts. Her saturated fat alone is 1,245% of her daily needs. This is not at all surprising to me. Now, I know Livia only does her cheat days maybe once a week, and she doesn't always necessarily aim for 10,000 calories, but there is definitely a trend in the majority of her cheat day videos where she tries to consume as much food as possible in a short 12-hour window. On that note, I want to talk a little bit about the science behind cheat days and the motivators behind why someone like Livia may participate in them. So the popular theory behind having a weekly cheat day in the dieting or fitness community is that it may potentially improve metabolic function by manipulating the hunger hormone leptin. Now, leptin is the hormone that signals to us when we're full and tells us to stop eating. So the idea behind cheat days is that consuming higher calorie foods for short periods will essentially trick your metabolism into temporarily producing more leptin, meaning you'll feel less hungry in the days following a cheat day. However, there's actually very little research to support this theory. Some research has shown that yes, leptin production does increase by as much as 30% after temporarily increasing caloric intake. However, the effects only last for about 24 hours, meaning if you were to have a cheat day, you might have a lower appetite for one day afterwards at best before it returns back to normal levels. On the flip side, a lot of people describe feeling super hungry after a cheat day, particularly one that is really high in refined carbs and sugar. This is possibly because refined carbs are digested really quickly since they lack any fiber to slow down digestion, and that results in rapid spikes in blood sugar. Then, higher amounts of insulin get secreted in response in order to quickly remove sugar from the bloodstream, which can then lead to a sudden drop in blood sugar. The result? Your body signals to your brain that you are now super hungry again, despite having just consumed a massive feast maybe hours prior. Studies have also shown that restricting calories can actually cause leptin to decline. This means that if you were to restrict during the week to accommodate your cheat meals, you'll be so starving by the time that you get to your cheat day, you can't help but overeat. There's also the psychological toll that cheat days can have. as they tend to strip any joy away from eating during the week. Cheat days automatically become the one day of the week where you allow yourself to enjoy food and essentially go ham on foods that you've previously restricted in the remainder of the week. This also puts you in the Last Supper or all or nothing mentality, where you feel the need to eat as much as possible and way more than you normally would because you know that you'll be restricting the rest of the week. It creates a scenario where you overeat, not because you necessarily want to or because it tastes good, but because you know that it's the only time you can. If we compare Livia's What I Eat in a Day video to her cheat day videos, we definitely see this pattern of restriction and Last Supper mentality and overeating. With that said, I do want to highlight a vlog on Livia's channel where she talks about how her perception of cheat days has really evolved.
And cheat days just saved my life. No, cheat days really helped me to overcome this fear of food and also deal with changes in my body, you know, getting bloated and being okay with that, and consuming more calories and being okay with that. So cheat days have been amazing for me. They helped me so much. They helped me regain my flexibility with food and not being so obsessed with it too. But to everybody out there, I want you to know that life is a development. So you develop as a person and you grow, you try to be the best person you can be, and things change. So for me, I felt like I wanted to take the next step for myself and find a new balance for me. I love doing cheat days and I will continue doing cheat days. However, I won't do them every week. I'll do them every 10 to 14 days and challenge myself to be even more flexible during the week, because I don't know the information out there, but I can assure you if you do weekly cheat days, you do have to take care of what you eat well to have this balance, you know, to be able to overeat and enjoy yourself in just one day and then be really healthy on the other days. And I found that this lifestyle, that was great for me, but I found it hard to maintain the recent weeks because also, like I said, I have a lot of things going on I can't talk about yet. Yeah, I wanted to experiment a little bit more with myself. I wanted to, you know, challenge still thoughts in my head that basically weren't always there, but sometimes gave me the excuse to, you know, eat really clean and stay away from like bad foods during the week because of my weekly cheat days. And now I want to lift this up to the next level, being able to do cheat days and being flexible during the time I do not have cheat days. And when I say flexible, I mean even more. And I feel like also one thing that scared me to do so was what you guys would think, because I know that people dread change. So when something changes, people are more likely to not like it and not longer support you. So I feared that most of you guys would not stick around. Like, I really want to make more content for you guys out there, but I also have to develop and progress as a person.
So again, I love Livia's honesty and vulnerability here, and she seems truly grateful for all the positive impact that cheat days have really had on her ability to overcome her fear of food and become more flexible with eating. However, she does sort of imply that having a weekly cheat day does put more pressure on her during the week to eat super clean and avoid bad foods. This is what I see as the fatal flaw of the cheat day. You know, it forces you into these polar extreme ways of eating, you know, super clean and low calorie, and then over the top excess, neither of which feel really good or intuitive. It sounds like Livia is coming to this conclusion herself, which is so amazing, and I'm really hoping that maybe this video here alone will give her the little push and inspiration that she needs to incorporate some more flexibility all week long. So maybe that looks like incorporating a few of her favorite cheat day staples like the donut or, you know, that chicken sandwich throughout her week and not feeling the need to incorporate them all into one epic day. Now let's move on to answer some basic questions about Livia's dietary patterns. Now, in general, do I think this way of eating is balanced? I mean, starting with Livia's 10K calorie cheat day video, the answer is obviously not. Not only does Livia's cheat day go way overboard on calories, fat, sugar, and sodium, but the sheer quantity of food is way beyond what the average person really should be eating in one sitting. To put this into perspective, the amount of calories she consumed in one day is equivalent to 6 days worth of her caloric needs. And as most cheat days tend to be, Livia's food choices were very carb heavy and high in fat. This is not intuitive at all because I cannot imagine this feeling good to anyone. As for Livia's what I ate in a day, we did see a little bit more balance with her dinner meal, but it was still really low in fat, and it's also pretty much where all of that balance ended. Instead, we saw a lot of deliberate meal skipping and meal replacing with some tiny protein bars and diet food snacks throughout the day. I mean, her what I ate in a day definitely left much to be desired, and taken together with the rest of her content, there is a clear pattern of restricting and binging going on. Now, are there any problematic claims or assumptions made by this channel? After reviewing Livia's videos, I don't see her making any direct diet or wellness claims to her audience, and really is instead more focused on sharing what she eats and showing us her day-to-day life. Livia is also constantly open and honest about her eating disorder history and provides some positive messaging around creating a pleasurable relationship with food and being weight neutral by not focusing on the numbers. I know it must not be easy for Livia to talk about her eating disorder so publicly, so I really do applaud her and respect her for being so brave to share her story on her channel. In reviewing her videos, I was also happy to see that I didn't pick up on any kind of explicit diet talk or food rules that she was imposing on her viewers, which I do really appreciate. However, her behavior is not entirely reflective of the food philosophy that she shares with us. And this may be because she may just still be on her recovery journey. I mean, I know that she emphasizes that cheat days have been very helpful for her recovery, but the binge restrict cycle is very clearly embedded in her day-to-day life, and we can see that so clearly on her channel. So although she doesn't directly make any problematic claims around food and eating, and instead she tries to verbally send the opposite message to her viewers, talking a lot about food freedom and having fun on her cheat days, the behavior here may actually be interpreted very differently. Now, I can fully understand that Livia may create content for entertainment purposes and shock value, but for somebody who's watching who struggles with their own relationship with food, they may see Livia glorify the act of eating 9 donuts or 5 slices of French toast in one sitting and think that this is totally normal eating behavior, that it's intuitive eating behavior, or even maybe healthy eating behavior for those who struggle with disordered thoughts. They may get the message that this is the only way to find freedom with food, when maybe having a donut on a Monday and a fried chicken sandwich on a Friday is a much more intuitive approach. Or they may watch Livia's normal eating day and see her restrict meals all day, have a strenuous workout, and then have an overly large, high volume, low fat meal at the end of the day and think that this is very healthy and normal as well. These can be really harmful eating behaviors and practices that further perpetuate disordered eating and can further entrench someone in the cycle of harmful dieting behaviors. And for someone like Livia who's recovering from an eating disorder, I would have thought that maybe she'd be a little bit more sensitive to how her content may be interpreted by someone who's struggling with restriction or feeling out of control with food. And I know Livia has never come out and said that, this is what you should do to recover from your eating disorder, but for vulnerable viewers, if you're putting yourself out there as an influencer, people are going to follow your lead. And we have a huge responsibility here. Now, bottom line, even though cheat days have been apparently an effective strategy for Livia in combating her eating disorder thoughts, like I said, this method of eating disorder recovery may actually do more harm than good. And it does so by perpetuating the good food versus bad food mentality throughout the week. Livia's cheat meals also have the potential to be highly triggering for some people and may actually exacerbate eating-related issues for individuals dealing with disordered eating, food addiction, emotional eating, or just a general inability to self-regulate their eating habits. Although Livia seems to be evolving in her approach to cheat meals and finding flexibility with food, which is so amazing, the current pattern of binging and restriction is very evident right now. And of course, it is a bit of a red flag to me that this perhaps may be an evolved form of her eating disorder. Now, I am not trying to diagnose Livia or discredit her recovery, but it's actually not uncommon to see eating disorders evolve and interchange with other types of compensatory eating behaviors. Through my own personal experience, I can totally empathize with just how difficult it is to free yourself from the grips of an eating disorder. So I do absolutely admire Livia's strength and dedication to overcoming her difficulties with food. I actually think that Livia is doing a great job at finding coping strategies that give her a sense of flexibility and freedom in her approach to food. However, I'm just saying and flagging that this is still not an intuitive and balanced way to eat. I also want to empathize that my goal with these reviews has always been to point out responsible content and problematic content to really help you make the best decisions about what is useful and healthy for you to consume online. It is not to tear down other creators. So I remind you, please be kind in the comments and on her channel as well. Let's be empathetic and supportive at building up people and supporting their food freedom journeys. And on that note, that is all for today's video. I want to give a big thank you again to Native for sponsoring this video. And if you liked it, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Leave me a comment below with any other YouTubers that you want me to review. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye!